Good evening to everyone who's watching right now. Uh, I'm I'm Buzz Noe, and I'm doing our Center for Spiritual Living Pleasant Valley midweek uplift, which is what we do on a regular basis on Thursday nights, in order to just have a message valuable to the rest of the world and brings our teaching to mind because our teaching is associated with the fact that we are humans here on the planet Earth, but we're part of a universe that is all connected through its one source. And we call that source God. You can call it what you want, but it's hard to deny that there's not a single source to everything that is. And if you look to that source as being the, the thing that brought you here, then you are just simply by that connected to that source. And the other idea, which we admire from our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, is the fact that as we as humans are putting out our consciousness from ourselves, as we think, do, act, communicate, we're putting that out into the universe. And if you have a single source of that universe that is infinite in its nature, which is how we consider that source, we call God to be, then that message is going out. So it is that communication between who you are as a human and the source of life, which is God. And that's what we talk about, that's what we come from. And of course, if that is the case, and we recognize it as being so, then as you might imagine, just like anything else in life, as you act, as something happens, there's a reaction. So what we like to look at in life is the more positive your message, your consciousness is that you send out, the more positive that reaction will be towards you. It'll come back to you, and we like to consider it as being maybe tenfold. So as nice as you are, that means the universe will be coming back to you tenfold in the same way. So that's what we're doing, and this uplifts message that we do on Thursday nights is just another way of expressing that, exemplifying it, and uh, creating it, just amplifying it, if you will, so that more people can have that mindset and go about their life with a more positive feeling, expression, consciousness, and anticipate that that's going to bring back a more positive, expressive consciousness of life to you. And that's the way it works, and it's worked pretty well for me. Now, you probably notice my background is a little bit different than it usually is here, because as you know, in life, things change, and you've got to put up with it and continue to be positive about it. The big change here was that there was a plumbing issue in one of our the lower bedroom that we used as an office. And in order to replace the piping, they had to have us empty the entire office that we've now had for 15 years, putting stuff in. All my clothes were in there, and then all of our materials from the jobs that Lynn and I have had, the production company capers, everything, the history of 20, 30 years was in boxes and in places in the desk and in drawers in that office, and we had to take everything out. So it's all over the house now. They finished yesterday the job of putting it back together, and now we're in the process of putting things back in there. But in that process, we're also looking through everything and seeing if we still need to have receipts from 2008, things like that, that obviously you don't need. And that's what brought this idea of my thoughts to have this midweek uplift this week with everyone, is the fact that as we go through stuff, there's a lot of things that we no longer need. And the first impulse, is just put it in the trash, throw it away. But it occurred to me that that's one of the things that we are dealing with in the life that we're all living right now, is the fact that the environment is not doing very well. The earthly environment that we live in. And I'm anticipating that if you're watching me, you're alive. And if you're alive, you probably are living on the planet Earth. So you're already aware that environmentally, things are not as good as they should be. And I started thinking, well, we've got to get rid of all this old stuff. and move it on. But a lot of it I don't want to be putting into the trash. And that's what the message I wanted to present to here. We just had Earth Day last Friday, and that was a message to humanity of respecting the environment of the earth that we live on, and do your best as an individual here to do things that better suit the environment. So I started looking into that. Of course, I have for several years, and realized that each of us as an individual has to do that. Each of us has to take our own personal stance towards protecting the environment that we live in and make it better. Because who knows what they're going to do in the corporate world, the political world. We don't have specific control over those things. We only have control what each of us as an individual does. But like we were saying, if you have that mindset that you're doing what you can to take care of the environment, that's going to go out and help things everywhere, a lot of different places. So that's what I wanted to talk about there. What can we as individuals do that would better protect this environment and make every day an Earth Day, which was a celebration of the protection of the environment that we should be doing. So these are the things I just wanted to address in this uplift message tonight. The biggest by me, and I've done some research on it, but as far as I can tell from every source, the biggest impact upon the environment that we have individual control of is putting plastic into the landfills and putting plastic out into the world, which is ending up, you probably have seen pictures of it, huge islands of plastic out floating in the ocean, not helping any aspect of the environment there, not helping any of the sea creatures, and not helping the environment overall, because plastic does not readily disseminate and just go into nothing. Plastic stays around for a long, long time. So that's the first part I wanted to mention. In fact, a good example of what I was talking about. This is a rather large plastic container that yesterday, Thursday, or no, it was today. Today was trash day. They came and took all the trash. And one of our neighbors, we had the trash cans out in the back for the truck to come pick them up, had this in their trash can. And I realized that this part of the message that I'm giving, you have a plastic container like this, or a smaller one, including medicine bottles. These are plastic. Things that you buy stuff in, like this container had strawberries in it, and it's also made of plastic. These are the things that you do not want to put into the trash can, do not want to have them end up in the landfill. So we all do stuff in our lives that involves plastic. The question is, what do you do with it when it's empty, when it's no longer being used? And the answer to that is put it into a recycle bin. Here in Port Hueneme, we have a recycle bin that we all use that's picked up on Mondays. And of course, the trash container is picked up on Thursdays. So I put that stuff in the recycle bin. Now, what I can't say for certain is where it goes from there. I'm anticipating that it goes to a place that recycles it, creates new plastic out of it, the way they do recycling. But at least I, as an individual here, know that I'm doing what I can individually to keep plastic out of the landfill, keep it out of the environment. So that's the main thing, is plastic. If you see it on the street, don't put it in the trash. Take it with you. Find a place to recycle it. If you don't have a recycle system in your own neighborhood or where you live in your own city, there are still recycle places that you can take things